many ways, the fact of the Swordfish being in service in such numbers when war broke out illustrates the sort of complacency and muddled procurement that often took place during the 1930s. This is an aircraft that has a cruising speed of just 90 knots or 104 miles an hour when it's lightly laden. That is reduced to 82 knots or 94 miles an hour with the underslung torpedo, and you can see this Swordfish is flying with a dummy torpedo under the fuselage. The crews had no accurate torpedo sight to calculate the all-important layoff that was required to aim the torpedo properly when attacking a moving target. Instead, all they had was a row of flashlight bulbs positioned on a bar level with the pilot's eye line. The distance between two of those bulbs represented 5 knots of speed at 1,000 yards, but there was no way of assessing the range from the target other than the pilot's experience, and thankfully the Fleet Air Arm's torpedo bomber pilots had very regular practice to hone those skills. The Swordfish first went into combat in Norway in April 1940, flying both off carriers and on floats. Back home in 1940, as the Battle of Britain was fought, the Fleet Air Arms squadrons were placed under the control of RAF Coastal Command, and Swordfish 85 years ago kept watch on enemy-held ports from which a German invasion of Britain could be launched. Sometimes they also spotted for naval guns. Following on from Taranto, perhaps the most famous action by the Swordfish was the sinking of the Bismarck in May 1941. They actually hit it twice. The first strike was by aircraft of 825 Squadron. Flying off HMS Victorious, they managed to achieve one torpedo strike which slowed the ship. Ark Royal got into range. 3 squadrons of Swordfish were launched from Ark Royal and achieved 3 hits, one of which damaged the Bismarck's rudder, stopped it manoeuvring, and allowed the home fleet to get more easily into range and sink it with their guns. The operation against the Bismarck was a good example of how the Swordfish also had certain advantages. It was able to fly so slowly that the Bismarck's flak guns found it difficult to track the biplanes, and those guns struggled with close-in targets, which was a bit of a surprising drawback, rectified later on the likes of the Tirpitz. Add to that the fact that the crews were so well trained in delivering torpedoes, how the Swordfish was stable and controllable in all weathers and at night, and as we're seeing, how it could turn very tightly, coupled with the aircraft's radar equipment that helped find the targets and guide the Swordfish back to the carrier. You can see why these sorts of successes were achieved. But then in February 1942, the Channel Dash, as it became known, illustrated its inadequacies. 6 Swordfish from 825 Squadron, with Lieutenant Commander Eugene Esmond in the lead, set out to stop the German battle cruisers Gneisenau and Scharnhorst and the heavy cruiser the Prince Eugen from going through the English Channel from Brest to their German home ports. All 6 Swordfish were shot down by their defenders, Esmond posthumously being awarded the Victoria Cross. As the war progressed, Swordfish had a major role protecting the vital supply convoys. through the Atlantic and the Arctic Ocean, flying not just from carriers but also converted merchant ships. They were active on D-Day, hence the invasion stripes that have been painted on this one, laying smoke screens and conducting anti-E-boat patrols. The last one wasn't built until August 1944. The final operational squadron soldiered on until August of 45. It was testament to the Swordfish's versatility that it outlasted its successor, the Fairey Albacore, although that was really only in roles other than its main torpedo bombing purpose. But this was one of the great British aircraft of the war. And this one from the Navy Wing's Heritage Flight serves to represent all of the Fleet Air Arm's Swordfish and the heroism of the crews who flew them. Pretty long flight for the Swordfish today, operating from its base at Yeovilton in Somerset. And this, as we were saying, at such a slow cruise speed. They've actually got 3 on strength with Navy wings. This is the only airworthy one at present. Hopefully their Mark II will fairly soon join it in airworthy condition. There's a third that's been used as a source of spares and so forth. As we mark the 80th anniversaries this year of the end of World War II, it's worth reflecting, I think, on the fact that these biplanes sank no fewer than 21 German U-boats during wartime. An incredible record, most of those while escorting the Arctic convoys to North Russia, a mission that's largely gone unsung.
Flight to Somerset.
It's a long ride back, isn't it?
It is a long ride back, yeah.
Is he on finals landing now? Or?
Well, if he's landing, I think he's probably going back. We want some fuel, I think.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
for its final pass. This one of the many swordfish produced, not by Fairey itself, but by Blackburn at its plant at Sherburn in Elmet in Yorkshire. It saw service out in Gibraltar, with the Mediterranean fleet probably on patrols over the Straits of Gibraltar. It's now painted as an 820 squadron aircraft that flew on the operations that sank or led to the sinking of the Bismarck. And with a final wing rock on the last pass, we say farewell to Glen Allison and the Navy Wings Heritage Flight Swordfish 1.